Last night I was out and I bumped into somebody who recognized me from living in LA. And they were like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing out here? I thought you were in LA." And I was like, "No, I left LA 2 years ago." And they were like, "Oh, really? Why? The cost of living?" And I just looked at her crazy. Now, I keep forgetting she moved 2019. She hasn't been back since. So she doesn't know about all the death and destruction and murder that happened during the lockdown, the scamdemic, vaccine passports, no police because of the George Floyd riots. She doesn't remember any of it. She didn't live through it. She was safely in Arizona in her enclave of freedom. Doug Ducey protected people in Arizona. She doesn't know. The same way Greg Abbott protected the people of Texas and DeSantis, people of Florida, and so on. So she doesn't know. So, and I was like, well, no, LA is gone. There is no more California. California is gone. My city, my hometown of Los Angeles is gone. It's long gone. They might as well change the name. It's not there. The city I grew up in, it's not there anymore. Some of the remnants are there, but everything's closed. There's no new businesses reopening. A lot of people are gone. The only people that are there are either trans, gays, or blacks. Because the only people that like living in a dangerous urban jungle of psychotic madness are gays, blacks, and illegals. Basically, people who they don't mind the crime because they're probably a part of it. But I'll give you another example of a professional criminal, and he's bragging about why he loves California.
If you want to do crime, come here, bro. There's hella crime. You will not get caught, straight up.
And look here, you can see the man reach into this blue SUV where it looks like there is someone inside. There's a hand right there, and you can hear someone screaming.
This is Boosty.
This is the moment more than 20 masked and hooded people stormed into Heller Jewelers in broad daylight Monday.
At U.S. News and World Report, ranking Oakland as the second most dangerous place in America.
Do you think every adult you know has been robbed at least once around here?
So was it worth putting a baby at gunpoint simply to get a couple sweatshirts?
Folks, this is Oakland, California, a city dominated by robberies, theft, and in-your-face crime.
Hard to control when there's a budget crisis, right? The cities are out of money. Police departments are outnumbered.
No. You guys are Democrats. You're liberals. You voted against funding the police. You voted to give more money to LGBTQ and trans causes to manipulate and mutilate children. You didn't care about the bottom line. And why? How did you not know that without police, eventually you are going to have a problem with crime? That seems pretty self-evident. So now everyone in California is trying to figure out what's going on, but there's no way you can be that dim. There's no way you can be that dumb that you don't realize you put yourself in this situation. I remember it was about May of 2020. None of my friends, we had all pretty much decided we weren't paying rent. The rent moratorium started in April. It lasted. Now, I told everybody, a lot of my friends were like, no, I'm going to still pay rent. I was like, you're wasting your time. They were like, well, no, this might be over next month. I said, California is the fourth largest economy in the world. It was number 3 at the time. This is a moving bullet train. You cannot stop a bullet train on the drop of a dime and think that all the carts attached to the rest of the behind the train are not going to crash. Then a train of that size, you can't just start it up again and it just instantly takes off. I said, this is going to last for years. So there's no point in paying your rent. There's something going on. So a lot of people, they waited around. But I told them, if you're not going to pay your rent, save your money, because eventually you're going to need that money to escape. Whatever they're doing here in California, I'm calling around. Arizona's open. Texas is open. Florida's open. These other big states are open. Conservative red states are open, but the blue states are closed. This is before I got into the political fray. Now I'm a controversial commentator, but I wasn't before. I thought no matter who was the president or who was the governor, nothing matters. Most people, you think about it, until the year 2020, like 90% of Americans, we had never even heard the name of our governor. We never cared. No matter who was the governor, everything was the same. Until one day it wasn't the same anymore. So we find out that now the lockdown's going to extend. But the George Floyd riots had began, and they were telling you that you can go out and protest, but you can't go to Walmart. You can go out and protest, but you can't the protest against police, but you can't protest against the lockdown because the virus will spread, but it won't spread if you're protesting against police in favor of George Floyd. And people just ate that up because everything was free. No rent, no bills, no responsibility. You no longer have to be an adult. So people got used to that. I remember when I first found out you couldn't call police, and you can call police and they wouldn't show up. I was scared to death. I was amazed. I never knew that could be a thing. So I told all my friends, hey, remember I told you to stop paying rent? You're going to need that money to move. Maybe move to Arizona, Nevada, move somewhere, maybe not too far from California, but you got to get the hell out of here. But no, Rico, I don't have that money no more. I'm like, what did you do with it? Oh, I bought TVs. I went to Hawaii. I went to Mexico. I'm like, wait a minute, during the lockdown? So you know what that means you had to do to get back into the country or to get into Hawaii. Wait a minute, after everything I showed you and told you, you're telling me you went out and took that fucking shot? You took the injection just to go get some fucking tacos and some pineapple juice? Tacos and coconut water? Like, learn to love America. You could just drive on vacation. You wanted to fly somewhere so bad that you let these people inject you. Now, a lot of my friends are sick and dead. We no longer have police. Crime is rampant. See, a friend of mine who's a police officer in LA, he said that now it's policy. It's not officially written, but the higher ups tell the cops now, try to find more white people to arrest, because if you arrest someone who's Hispanic or black, you'll probably lose your job. So if you're a criminal and you're black or you're Latino looking, and the best place in the world for you right now is Los Angeles or anywhere in California, because the police won't arrest you anymore. See, they're purging all the white people out of LA. So you can commit crimes against white people and nothing will happen. And if you're white and you try to defend yourself, they will drop the fucking hammer. They will drop the book on you. They will throw it at you like Brett Favre throws a pass. You are cooked if you're white, especially if you're a straight white man. Now, if you're a gay white man, you're no longer white. You're just gay. A lot of people don't know that. If you're gay, you don't have a race anymore. Gay is your race. So you might see someone who's a bald black lesbian. You think she speaks on behalf of black people. She doesn't. She's lesbian. She's just manipulating black people, but her interests and who she represents are the gays. So those are who took over California, the gays, and then they use the blacks as their muscle, their foot soldiers. That's why when you try to speak out against them or anything, they send a bunch of black people who are immune to prosecution and to arrest now. They send them after you to harm you, to fight you. That's why you don't see too much going on in California, because they have their security now. So we were on a slippery slope. This did not happen overnight. Just in case you're wondering, how did things get so bad in California? I just tried to sum it up for you in 4 minutes.
Staffing is at the lowest levels. Around 600 police officers right now at City of Oakland. We pay taxes.
Extreme amount, right?
Right.
You pay some of the
pay
highest in the
taxes
country.
In the country, right?
Yeah.
Public safety should not be a wish list. It should be given.
I think what really hurts is a lot of us feel like we're watching the downfall of America. And it started off in slow motion. In some ways, it feels like it's just speeding up. And it's really sad because there are a lot of people that bust their ass in this country. People that are absolutely hustling to try and just live and survive and raise kids and buy a house. And our taxes just keep going up. But the standard of living is getting lower.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. I don't respect anybody who volunteers to continue to live in California with everything that they've already seen and been shown. You know, being a California, a native Californian, I can tell you our problem. Our biggest problem is arrogance. See, the way the United States pretends that the rest of the world is just a shithole with everybody living in mud huts. Yeah, that's how Californians look at the rest of the United States. We don't know anything about the rest of the country. We think the rest of the country is a nuclear wasteland with zombies and everyone's living in mud huts. So, and that's just because of propaganda. We think that California is the best thing since sliced bread. But all that nice weather and beautiful mountains means nothing if you're killed in a robbery or if you're stabbed because you're white or you're killed in a home invasion. A beautiful beach that you're buried next to is not necessarily a consolation prize. I can't afford to get killed in California just because I'm walking down the street randomly because there's no consequences. And I have plans for the next week. I can't do it. But in our minds, there's no other option. So we just stay there and we take the abuse. The problem is, while we're taking the abuse, we're empowering the abusers, the fraudsters, the globalists, the anti-American communists who have literally turned our state into a fake supermajority by using fraud to convince people that the state is bright blue when it's really bright red. If it wasn't for illegal aliens and fraudulent votes and the whole state being captured, it would be a Republican state. But you don't know that because of the fraud. And if you try to go against the fraud, then all of a sudden, magically, a bunch of blacks and gays will attack you. But that's the only base in California. We outnumber them, but you think they outnumber us conservatives, and you're wrong. This is unfortunately, we don't have enough backbone to do much about it. They're telling me there's a new sheriff that's running for governor and all this other stuff. But with the fraud that I've seen, it's really hard for me to believe that change is going to happen. But I'll believe it when I see it. Do me a favor, if you're from California, or if you know anything about what I'm talking about, or if you've seen the crime and everything collapse and go down, tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Share the video, put me in the algorithm. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your comments also. I like to have these discussions. So like and subscribe, share the video. Remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.